Hello, welcome back to Henry as we continue with changes for Felicity. Chapter 2, Friends Divided. Felicity and Elizabeth set forth to deliver the curry combs to Mr. Pelham, the town jailer. He lived in a little house next to the jail, which stood at the edge of Williamsburg. "Lissy," said Elizabeth as they walked, "is Mr. Nye still in jail?" "Yes," said Felicity, "and I'm very glad he is. As long as he's in jail, I don't have to worry that it'll come bother Penny." "He won't be in jail forever," said Elizabeth. "Someday he'll pay the debt he owes and get out of jail." "I suppose," said Felicity. She stopped after around a puddle. "Well," Elizabeth asked, "when he does get out of jail, what will you do?" Felicity shuddered. "Nothing at all," she said. "I don't want anything to do with Mr. Nye. He's mean." "Maybe you could speak to him," said Elizabeth. "Maybe you could make him promise to stay away from Penny and her fall. Maybe." "Hem," snorted Felicity. "You don't know him, Elizabeth. A promise from Mr. Nye isn't worth dust." Elizabeth said no more. They had reached Mr. Pelham's house. It was connected to the jail, which looked gloomy even in the afternoon sunshine. Felicity knocked on Mr. Pelham's stout wooden door. She and Elizabeth walked on the doorstep for a few minutes. At last, Mr. Pelham opened the door. "Yes," he said. "What is it?" "Good afternoon, sir," said Felicity. "We're delivering your curry combs from Merriman's store." She held out a bundle. "Ah, yes, indeed," said Mr. Pelham. "Thank you. 'Tis good of you to bring to my house. Come in for a moment while I find my money to pay you." The two girls stepped inside Mr. Pelham's house as he went on. "I don't have time to get to the store these days. The jail is crowded since they've started arresting loyalists. I'm so busy, He stepped and looked around. "Oh, bother," he said. "I left my money in my coat pocket, and I've left my coat in the passage. If you'll just follow me." He lit a candle and led the girls to the passage that connected his house to the jail. "Come along this way. I've got the..." Suddenly, they all heard a muffled thump, and then someone started coughing violently and choking. Felicity realized she was standing next to the door of a cell. The sound came from inside. "Oh, dear," exclaimed Mr. Pelham. "Stay right here, girls. I've got help." His keys jangled as he hurriedly unlocked the door and rushed into the cell. Felicity and Elizabeth shivered a little, but they couldn't stop peering after him. The cell was small and cold and dark. Mr. Pelham had set his candle on the floor. By its eerie light, the girl saw the jailer easing a man's body onto a pallet. The body sagged as if it had no bones. The head rolled toward them and Felicity gasped. The man's eyes were closed. His skin was ghostly light. He was shrunken and thin enough to seem almost transparent. But Felicity was so sure the lifeless lump on the pallet was her old enemy. She swallowed hard and whispered to Elizabeth, "That's Mr. Nye." Elizabeth's eyes widened, but she said nothing. Both girls stepped back as quickly as Mr. Pelham came out of the cell, locked the door behind him. "That's Mr. Nye, isn't it?" Felicity asked. "Aye," said Mr. Pelham. Is he dead?" Elizabeth whispered. "Near to it," said Mr. Pelham. "He's had the fever for days. He's got no money to buy logs for a fire or blanket or medicine." The jailer shook his head. Jiggy Nye used to be a respected man. No one in Williamsburg knew more about animals. But after his wife died, he took to drinking. He drank in hate with every drop. He's been in the stocks and pillar many times. Now he's ended up in debtor's jail, where no one cares if he lives or dies. After Mr. Pelham paid for the curry combs, Felicity and Elizabeth said goodbye. The sky was a wintry pink as they walked away from the jail. Felicity felt cold. She pulled her cloak around her, but the chill she felt was inside and would not go away. Felicity and Elizabeth walked together silently through the January dusk. Mr. Nye's face haunted Felicity. She could not forget how helpless and sad he looked. Then Felicity shook herself. Mr. Nye might be sick, she thought, but he's still the man who treated Penny badly. I will not feel sorry for him. Elizabeth looked over at Felicity. "It was terrible in that cell, wasn't it?" she said. "It was so dark and so cold. No one should have to live in a place like that, especially someone who is sick with no one to care for him." Felicity said firmly, "It is Mr. Nye's fault He has no friends. He's cold-hearted and cruel. He looked like a weak, helpless old man to me, said Elizabeth softly. Maybe so, but you don't know him, said Felicity. That's true, said Elizabeth. She faced Felicity. Don't you feel sorry for him at all? She asked. Well, said Felicity, he did look miserable. But after the way he treated Penny, I could never feel sorry for him. I think she'll bring him a blanket and some medicine, said Elizabeth. She sounds so gentle but determined. I think we should help him. No, said Felicity. Not Mr. Nye. He would never say anything for me anyway. He hates me as much as I hate him. He doesn't need to know it's from you, said Elizabeth. No one needs to know. Elizabeth, said Felicity, even if I did feel sorry for him a little bit, why should I be kind to him? Why should I help him? If he does get better, he may come looking for Penny. That's when you told me you were the one who helped him, said Elizabeth. He won't hate you if you've been kind to him. He won't hurt Penny. It won't do any good, said Felicity. Mr. Nye will never change. Aye, you're right, said Elizabeth. He won't change if you do nothing. But if you help him, there is a chance he will change. You don't understand, said Felicity. Mr. Nye said he would kill Penny before he let me have her. He meant it, too. He may have meant it when he said it, replied Elizabeth. But if you do something nice for him, he won't hurt you or your horse. Don't you see, Felicity? If you help him, he will do something to protect Penny and her foal. Felicity thought about what Penny had said. After a long while, she turned and said, Very well, I'll do it, but only because of Penny. Good, said Elizabeth. I have an old horse blanket we can give him, said Felicity. And Mother and I made garlic syrup for Grandfather's cold. I'll mix up more. I can bring a blanket, too, said Elizabeth. I'll come to your house tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Then we'll go to the jail. Tomorrow at 3, repeated Felicity, as the girls parted to go home. But Elizabeth did not come to Elizabeth's house the next day at 3 o'clock. Felicity was puzzled. She waited almost an hour, and then she went to Elizabeth's house to find her. Felicity was carrying a basket with a bottle of medicine and the old horse blanket on it. She had pinned a note to the blanket that said, For Jiggy Nye. The blanket was heavy. It banged against Felicity's knees with every step. Felicity knocked on the door of the Cole's house for a long time before a servant answered. He opened the door just a bit and stuck his head out. I'm very sorry, miss, he said. Mrs. Cole and her daughters are not receiving callers. He started to close the door. Wait, Felicity exclaimed. You know me. I'm Felicity Merriman, Elizabeth's friend. Whatever is the matter? Why can't I see Elizabeth? I beg your pardon, Miss Felicity, the servant said. You can't come in. I'm sorry. You'll have to go. He closed the door quite firmly. Elizabeth was confused and worried. Something awful must have happened. She thought someone must be terribly sick. I wonder if it's Elizabeth. Felicity didn't know what to do. She knocked on the door again, but no one came. She looked up in the window of Elizabeth's room, but she couldn't see anything. She walked around the back of the house. Everything was shut tight, as if the Coles had gone away. Elizabeth gave up. She walked to the jail without thinking about where she was going. She had just put the basket next to the doorstep of Mr. Pelham's house when they opened. Quickly, she stood in the front of the basket to hide it. Oh, it's you again, said Mr. Pelham. Why are you back? I think I left something here, said Felicity. Well, I haven't have time to help you look for it, said Mr. Pelham patiently. I'm busy. They've just brought another loyalist here. I don't know how I'm supposed to find room for him. This jail's overcrowded as it is without this new one, this fine and fancy gentleman, Mr. Cole. Mr. Cole? Elizabeth's father? Felicity was stunned. It can't be Mr. Cole, she said to the jailer. Why would Mr. Cole be in jail? He's a loyalist, shrugged Mr. Pelham. That's reason enough. But that's not fair, Felicity exclaimed. Mr. Cole hasn't done anything wrong. You can't... Now, miss, interrupted Mr. Pelham, I didn't arrest him, and I can't stand here arguing with you. You'll have to go. He closed the door. Felicity turned away. She could not believe what she'd heard. Elizabeth's father was in jail. He was locked away in a cold, dark cell, just like a horse thief. And all because he was a loyalist. No wonder I wasn't allowed in the Cole's house today, she thought. They know father is a patriot. They probably don't trust anyone in the colony today. Felicity knew there had been battles between the King's soldiers and the Patriots' army in Massachusetts and Canada and nearby Norfolk. She had seen soldiers with their guns training to fight right on the market square in Williamsburg. But none of that affected anyone she loved. Now it seemed that she had feared most what was happening. The fight between the Patriots and the Loyalists was changing everything. It was going to separate her from her friend. Suddenly, Felicity wanted to see her own father. She wanted to make sure he was safe and feel safe herself. She ran to Father's door. Father, Grandfather, and Ben were talking in Father's office. It was warm there and gently lit by a candle. Father smiled as Felicity came in. Your grandfather and I can't agree about when Henny's foal is going to be born. He said, I think it'll be sooner than. He stopped when he saw Felicity's face in the light. Why, Lissy, he said, what's the matter? Patriots put Mr. Cole in jail, said Felicity, just because he's a loyalist. Elizabeth's father? Gasped Ben. In jail? Aye, said Felicity, in a cold, dark jail just like Mr. Nye. This is an outrage, exclaimed Grandfather. He was furious. That just cannot be possible. I'm afraid anything is possible these days, said Mr. Merriman. The Cole servant wouldn't allow me to talk to Elizabeth, said Felicity. Does Mrs. Cole think I'm the enemy because you're a patriot, Father? Father put his arm around Felicity's shoulders. Elizabeth knows you're her friend, he said. Never fear. Ben tried to comfort her too. The day after next is Sunday, he said. You'll see Elizabeth at church. You'll be able to speak to her there. Felicity hoped he was right. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.